Hey nerds, join us on Discord and hit that subscribe button.
Hello, I'm Kellic.
Oma. Thessaly.
Tika.
Blinn.
And I'm your DM, Ethan. Welcome to Venture Forth. Previously, you all descended the Venville Rise, victorious in closing the portal to the plane of air. You all met with Paston Broadhammer, captain of the Howit Dugan, to once again sail your way south towards Autumn Hollow, where you would get a portal back to Hayfried's Void. Once again, you said your goodbyes to the captain, as well as the crew after assisting them in getting the ship back to Autumn Hollow. And as you all step through the portal back to Hayfried's Void, you once again feel your stomachs lift up. You are transported through the void and land back into Hayfried's. As your feet hit the stone and that sort of familiar cold surrounds you and that air that escapes your lungs that you all know pretty familiarly by now, you look around and you see that right now the platform that you're currently standing on, that you're used to rotating around the central platform, is actually connected to the central platform. And as you sort of wipe your eyes and your eyes come back into focus, you can see Hayfried and Timmy there, both in the middle of the central platform, looking like they're packing. You can see Hayfried's got a massive backpack on with a bedroll attached, and Timmy is over at his desk that you have all seen him studying at before, with a backpack on. You see a stack of books in front of him, and he is furiously attempting to write a note as Hayfried turns to him. Hey, come on, Timmy, we're already late. Let's go. As Hayfried turns around to you guys.
Where are you going?
Timmy and I are just off to a little escapade. We're going to be heading out for perhaps a couple days, but we should have everything set here for all of you. I'm glad we got to see you all before we headed out.
Oh, we just got back.
I know, it's terrible timing, but with the long eve and everything, time is sort of the essence.
What manner of escapade? Are you alright? Is everything okay?
Everything's totally fine. Just with the stuff that I've been teaching Timmy, as I'm sure some of you know, a lot of these spells that we do require special components, and actually up sort of in the northern regions of Ondale, there is this specific flower that only blooms during the long eve. So Timmy and I are going to be going up and collecting some of those.
Is there anything special we should know about keeping the void
Safe?
maintained?
Oh yeah, no, I've fully set it up. You all will be completely fine. Just I would say don't let anyone out of their cages.
Oh, we won't be doing that.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Okay, then we're all on the same page. Timmy, are we good to go? As Timmy just finishes up writing the little note on the desk, puts it down. All right, yep, I'm ready to go. He sort of hikes up his backpack, and he looks all over at you. I left some stuff over for you guys that you asked me about. I don't know how long we're going to be gone. Hopefully it's quick, but you guys should have it all handled from here.
I'll raise my hand up to like just kind of like get get Timmy's attention. Hey, quick before you go, what if we want to bring one of the platforms down? How do we do that with you gone?
I've got all of that right over there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
You guys should be good to go.
good to see you.
It was great to see you guys too. I'm sorry you guys couldn't.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
We'll see you when you
Please.
get back, I guess.
Okay.
Bye, Timmy.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Good long eve.
Bye, Hayfried.
Yeah, be safe.
Bye. All right. As you all shuffle off of this teleportation circle, Timmy and Hayfried board, and with a whoosh of energy, the teleportation circle lights up, and silence falls over the void.
I feel like we never see Hayfried when we're in the void anymore. I miss him.
Yeah, I mean, but every time we do see him, we kind of ask him for stuff, so I can kind of see why maybe he doesn't want to be around when we are, maybe?
Well,
You think he doesn't want to be around when we're here?
let's
We-
not assume it's intentional. It could be happenstance.
I don't know why I thought this, but for some reason, I didn't think Timmy could leave the void.
Why?
Why would
Well, I've
Huh?
never seen him outside of the void.
Well, he's just a normal person. We brought him into the
he's
void.
not like a summoned entity trapped in a void?
This is a weird sort of interdimensional void thing that I've never been in before. I didn't know what the rules were.
I think there are.
He's not made from the void.
Well, I didn't think he was made from
He's
the
not
void. but I
goopy.
thought-
Have you like touched him? He's not.
No, I don't want to poke Timmy. That seems rude. So. Good to know. I'm glad they can take a little trip.
I suppose Timmy was showing us that spell he was doing with the thing he could bring into being that would help him with tasks. Isn't that something he was showing us? So
Huh?
maybe that's what Tasley was thinking.
What do you...
I'm trying to, like you can, if you're a powerful magic user, you can get help from the forces of
Oh,
the
yeah.
planes. And maybe I'm just trying to
Are you
wrap my head around.
justifying?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I thought. I was just surprised when he said he could go. I don't know why I thought that. It felt like Timmy in the void. I don't know why. I don't know. Not good at magic.
Well,
Seeker.
he has taken to this place well. I'm happy
Well,
to see that at least.
And it's probably not best for him to leave because he is, he is
fugitive.
a fugitive from the law. Yeah, that's
Timmy?
the word. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
broke him out of jail.
What?
Yeah.
Timmy in jail.
Yeah, Caldor is really strict.
Oh, yes, they are.
That's what
You
said,
didn't know
yes.
that
Yes,
already.
they
He
are.
didn't have his papers.
Yeah.
We got arrested, and
Oh.
yeah, it was bad. But we got him out.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's where
wow.
Tito was too. We got him out as well.
Oh.
Speaking of fugitives, you are a fugitive. I guess technically we are all fugitives.
Yeah, I think we have
From
been
what?
for a while.
Wait, why?
Well, you broke him out.
We went in. We did the jail.
They don't know
Wait.
They don't know who we are.
I'm pretty sure the.
Good. Oh, they do?
When I was looking for you before I came back, I sent a message to a friend, and they were aware of your activities in Westreach.
Wait, like by name?
By description?
Description.
Okay,
By-
so they don't know. They're just like, hey, there's a kid.
Well, they could have, like,
You think that's the
Wanted
primary defining characteristic of... Yeah. I see.
While they're discussing this, could I look around the void and just kind of how did they leave it? Like, I know
I don't get the job.
I know that they were in a rush. Does it seem like things have been tidier?
Looking around, it seems that everything is sort of in order. The past couple times that you've come in here and Timmy has been either studying or he needs to pull something, pull a magical item out for you. It gets a little bit tricky and things need to be rearranged, but it seems like right now everything is sort of back in its place.
I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, we kind of have the place to ourselves. Like, should we do something nice for them? Like, they help us out so much, and I thought maybe we could clean or something, but it doesn't seem like that needs to be done. Is there anything else we could do? Like, maybe make them something or leave something here for them?
I just try and catch Calyx's eye. Shrug.
What are you looking at me for?
Well, we do have something to talk about. Maybe.
How is that relevant to what Flynn is?
It does not. It's not.
So you're just going to breeze right past that?
what?
Do you have something we could give them? Is that what you're talking about?
We're not giving Hayfried more glass.
We
I
do.
am-
We have items. We have no, not that.
I
I have
Other
a lot of
items.
I hadn't
thorns.
even considered that.
I have a lot of thorns that I can
Oh.
give.
I
You
have
have a
dirt.
jar
I
of
have dirt
dirt.
for Hayfried. That's right. Oh, he walked right by me and I...
Well, yeah,
So
why
maybe
don't
we
we
can
like
leave
set it
them-
up on a table or something and put all our stuff there, and when they come back, if we're not here, they have a little present waiting for them.
Okay.
I
Lovely.
think that's sensible.
Okay, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. What were you saying? you
If
have?
Secret-
you
what
could
were
leave
you
your
talking
sword
about?
on it,
Yeah, I could.
Don't
Flynn.
do that. Yes, what Seeker was referring to was this. And I reach into my bag and I pull out the wrapped up book and I unwrap it. Flynn, if you recall, we picked this up at the Cure Ruins.
Yeah.
Well, Saker did me the service of learning more about it. Well, it's a tome of potentially limitless knowledge. It's
What?
it's a husk of all things written. If I'm
Correct.
am I
Yes,
saying that correctly, Saker?
exactly. And everything that has ever been written in Elbor exists within it.
I'm gonna open it up.
No,
Oh, wait,
you're not.
don't-
I'm
don't.
holding it. You're not. I'm not giving it to
I
you.
would like.
I want to reach for it to open it up to
I
see if
pull
I
it,
can
I pull
see
it back.
Is it safe to read?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, like most things, it comes with a cost, right? There's some sort of ritual you have to undergo if you open it and read it. It takes you inside the book,
Huh.
and then depending on the gravity of the request you've made, I presume you go in and you say, I'd like to learn a better recipe for mushroom soup. And depending on how badly you want that recipe, well,
You defy the dragon.
Wait,
you
Something.
have
wait.
to face a challenge.
But,
in the
Wait,
book.
but I don't understand. That book is not very big. So is it blank pages or is it written words? That's why I want to see what it's inside
Well,
of it.
I'm fearful that the moment you open it, Olma, you'll get transported inside.
But you don't know that. You just said there was a
DM
ritual you had to do to ask it a question. What if I don't ask it a question? What if I just open it and see? It's not a very thick book, so how could it be all words written, never, ever written?
The
D-
same
D-
way that Flynn has a bag that can hold things that are bigger than the bag.
Yeah.
But
no,
that's
no,
what I'm saying. So it's
question.
something
Oh my-
written on the page.
For going in, is it just like you have to, you make some link, or is it just open and you're in? Like what was the?
You open it, and it has to be specifically a willing creature must.
willing. Okay.
Must open it and be transported inside. If it is an unwilling creature, it appears to be a blank book.
Got it.
Oma, remember, magic is weird.
I just want to know if the pages are blank or not.
Well, okay. Kelly can look at it, I guess.
Secret?
Seeker, do you know from what your study?
Yes. You have to choose to go in. So apparently, if you don't want to go in, you don't see anything.
So the pages are blank.
That's how I would
Unless you
interpret that. Yes.
want to know.
And then it's inside, like you go in the book, which sounds kind of cool.
So maybe we just don't open it
But-
without the intent to use it.
But
So before we start to, because I feel that this could quickly become a snowball hurtling downhill, I have a proposal of how we might use this. Seeker said that all of us could go in at once, which is my preference if anyone were to.
Yeah.
And I look over, DM, where's Code on Bow at the Mo?
I was going to think the same. Or all of them are. All of the prisoners.
Yeah.
Do they see?
Where's
Yeah.
Codown Bow at the Mo?
All of them are still floating on that outer ring
Yeah.
that is much further out than the central ring.
So just with like shooting a wary glance over at him, I look back to the group. What if we asked it how to counteract his drow rune,
Yeah.
his curse?
Yeah.
That would make the most sense.
well, I mean,
How long does it take, though, to get the answer? Because we're on a time crunch a bit.
if we were in the book for a month, we would come back out at this exact same moment. If we went in it right now.
So if I went in it right now and I waited like years, I could come out an adult right now?
I don't
Do you
know.
age?
I don't.
I
I'm
don't know if you
I assume you
age.
don't.
guessing you
It's
don't
fine.
age.
I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
do you get hurt?
You can die. Yes.
So
Oh,
you can die, but you don't
That's
age?
part of the test. Yeah, you have to fight your way past creature
Well-
or creatures.
is it only creatures or
Was
is
it
it like
specifically a fight
mental
or-
stuff?
Yeah.
Puzzles.
So
or...
another idea is we send Sword Boy, and we have him give the
Hey.
sword.
Who?
Sword Boy
Flynn. He
Yeah.
means Flynn.
Oh, I see.
to give the magic sword to the tester, or whatever it is, and say like, I give this to you because you are so special, and this sword is awesome, and blah blah blah.
Aye, novel idea.
And then they let him leave.
I don't think the book would be. You said the book has every
That is
idea
written.
ever written
Is
down.
sorry,
the
are you
power of your sword
suggesting-
written?
Are you
Probably.
It's
Might be.
literally on a tattoo.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting that we play a prank on the Husk of all knowledge?
Yeah, I
Yes.
don't know if I want to do
Let's
that.
not
Is it the
do that.
Also,
Is it the
summoning
prank
the
if
sword
it works?
It has limits.
How will that
too.
work?
I don't know.
What are you? What's the goal there?
Getting
Well-
out without having to fight.
I think it's best if we take this at face value.
Yeah, I also think maybe we should test it with a simpler question. And then we ask how to destroy the ritual, and I look around to make sure the Kodumbo isn't watching.
Why would we test it with? Does the ritual change based on what we're asking?
Yes, the weight of the question. Like how? Yes.
How
let's just
important it is to you.
Yeah,
Get the
just ask
answer.
something
I don't know if
simple.
it's to you or in general.
Well, how
How
would
do
you
they-
know?
Yeah.
Well, that's why we test
In
it.
general, right? It's,
Just that, well, what's
It's
like an
all subjective,
easy
isn't
thing
it?
that we need an answer to?
Good point.
Kellic said he wants to know a better recipe for mushroom
Why don't
soup.
we
I
start
feel like
with
that's
that?
pretty
well,
simple.
I have a pretty good recipe. I'm not. That was
Okay.
just an example.
But it is a good one. It doesn't seem like it'd be too crazy of an ask for the
But it-
perfect recipe for soup.
Well, that's
Should we make a list of all the questions we have? Because I could think of others.
That's a thought. We could get something that's a little less important, but still of
Important.
meaning to our
Yeah.
mission.
what kind of questions do we have?
Don't want to be put in danger for every question we have. I think some of our resources. And
Yes,
I'm
I
gonna-
think 2 would be good at
Two?
most. To,
Alright.
You know, one simple one and
And then
this one
the-
about the root.
So, what
yeah.
kind of questions do we have?
the Kodumbo one
Yeah.
about the rune,
The big one.
and I don't know.
Maybe how almost magic works?
But it's all things written as well, right? So
Mm.
if it's not written, then it's not going to be there. It's not all knowledge.
Correct.
But the rune, I think we have a good chance because it too is used. It uses language. The rune, I
Yeah.
can read it in Undercommon.
Could we ask it to give us the history of the gods and what was the name of the ever was it like the Everdon or something like this?
What do you mean? The long even the Everdon?
Yes, we could ask for the history of the world as it is.
The entire history of the
I-
world. I don't know.
That
how-
might take years.
It's also going to be
We would have to.
like different depending on who you're asking, right? The history as it's told in Caldor is different from the history as it's told in Andil.
What about if we ask about what happened to that like empty center?
the waste.
Oh, in the waves.
Yeah,
I think we have a book that described that a little bit, right?
but maybe we can ask in more detail.
Yeah, is there
Maybe
something?
there's.
What more do we need to know?
Maybe it knows what happened to the group that disappeared.
Or we could ask about the crack in the world.
Scar? The tear? Rather?
We could ask do we know where the outcast comes from? What it really wants?
It's trapped in the abyss. There might be some
but why?
writing about
But does it come from there? Like, what is its? I know it's trapped in the abyss.
Again,
What
all
is it?
these questions are pretty heavy.
They're pretty big stuff.
I know that,
But we
I
kind of
still
they
need to
really
know.
have.
I know we do, but I think we want to test it first to see what kind of trial we have to be put through. And I think like the soup one is pretty easy. I mean, I think it would be.
There's got to be something else we want to know other
I think
than
everything we want to know is pretty heavy.
Yeah, right. So we should just go in being prepared to
Are we
fight.
scared? I don't understand what's happening right now. Why don't we want to ask a real question?
I have a question.
That's a good point.
What is it?
How did I turn your owl into a baby dragon?
Do we think that's written down?
Is that
Would that to be written?
Maybe.
I think most questions I have about Onda's magic don't seem easily researched.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that one's written.
Possible.
Is there any way to do that?
What about the recipe for a cure to petrification?
Ooh,
Oh.
yeah.
I look up
good.
the-
It's really big.
The Hayfried's, he's got that platform with all the stone
You
people
did
on
ask if we could do something.
That one still
Yeah,
seems.
I think that makes sense.
it. It's heavy, but it's not as important to us as all this other stuff.
It
So
doesn't
just
seem-
like a cure for petrification?
Yeah, I think that's a good start.
Is there a cure for petrification?
What is the
Is there a
cure?
Potion
My
to
understanding is, I mean, I have some magical means of resolving.
No,
Things
that's
like
the question. I'm saying that's the question. Is there a way to cure petrification?
But specifically, Hayfried's victims, though, he's
Right.
used some kind of special
and I don't
enchantment.
think you want to
Mm.
ask a yes or no question. I think you probably want to ask like a question that
What is?
what is? Yeah, because if you ask is there,
Yeah, like what
the
is
book
the
could just say,
easiest
yeah.
way
Makes you
or
fight a dragon, and then it's like Yes.
Yeah, there's a way.
Yeah. Well, like maybe what is the way for
That's a very good point. Yes.
someone that isn't a magic user to do it? Because I mean, I'm assuming there's probably magic out there in the world that we don't have access to that could do it. So we want to probably make sure that the answer is something that we can all do currently.
We can't make sure.
So, like,
how could we
is
make sure of
there-
that?
We'll just ask: is there a way to cure petrification without magic? Maybe there's like herbs or something.
What
like,
if we phrased it like, what is the way that we can undo Hayfried's curse on his
Yeah.
petrified
because
victims?
it's by person.
It's for us.
I think that's a
But-
good
okay.
idea.
I like that.
What if that's too specific and that's not written?
Well,
Similar to almost magic.
Well, that
Oh,
has
right.
to be
It's
written.
not you're right. It's written knowledge.
well, then it's a good test.
Well, so maybe we should ask, what is the way to cure petrification?
Yes, without magic.
Magical
with magic,
petrification. We
yes.
could say magical petrification instead of like
Well, that's what I'm not
Creature-
sure about. Is
petrification.
We could
because I,
ask it
I
what-
could try with the spells that I
Okay,
have.
okay, so what if we ask, what are
What?
the ways to cure it? And then we get multiple ways and we
Yeah.
can try them all.
Or like, what other ways
Right.
we can?
Yeah,
cure
if
it?
we were looking in an actual book about these things, you would
Yeah.
check the encyclopedia and it
Yeah.
would give you a bunch of different possibilities, right?
So let's just do that.
It might not know what we can do.
I think
you know.
Didn't you
It won't
say
know
it
what
is?
we
That
can
makes
do.
sense because it's not written what we can do. Yeah, right.
But doesn't it? I thought you said it connects to us and like.
But it knows how
Knows how
important
important
It let us
it
in.
is.
But
So-
it doesn't know everything we can
I
do,
don't-
probably.
It sucks us into the book.
I don't know if it would know how important it is to us. I mean, the weight of things in the world, like petrification versus mushroom soup, like it's just a different level of.
Well, but that's not really that important to us.
I know. I'm saying
it's
that I don't
important
think
to
the book
Hayfried.
cares.
Well, I am
don't think it
curious to know like the best mushroom soup and to see if it tastes good. Because if I try the best mushroom soup and I still don't like it, then I know I just don't like mushroom soup. But maybe I just don't
I
like
guess
the way
that's a good point.
Pella cooks it.
But what kind of mushrooms are we talking about?
Well, that's why I
What?
think we'll get an answer. We'll get
No,
the
I don't
best.
think
You
we'll
didn't
get an
say
answer.
anything
I
about
feel
it.
like asking
You didn't
anything.
like my soup.
Wait a second.
It's really bland.
I feel like when you're asking what the best is,
not
it's a point of
overwhelming.
opinion.
That is true.
And so it won't be written. It'll just be like,
well, maybe.
this person wrote that this is the best one. This person wrote that this is the
Oh,
best one.
can you imagine,
This person
though?
wrote that
We
this
could
is
try
the best.
every kind.
No.
Okay, now
that
I don't
sounds-
know if I want to try all that mushroom soup.
Could be really good.
What else do we need to know that is important?
I like
What about the-
petrification question.
I like the mushroom question.
The petrification
Well,
one
you're
is good
dumb.
because it's
Hey.
of
Oh,
it's of importance to us. It matters, but it's not world ending for us. Like these poor people are fortunately or unfortunately not going anywhere, so we have time.
Petrification. We have
Boop.
the mark on Codamvo.
Yeah, that's going to be the big one
That's a
that we
big
do, I
one.
think.
I mean, it's not the biggest. We have questions about the red wolf and where they came from
Almost
and what they-
parentage.
That wouldn't be written,
Oh.
probably.
I mean,
It might
depending on
be.
who your parents are,
Maybe.
they
If
keep
they're
You think
records.
important,
so?
then they
we
would.
could ask
Yeah,
that.
there's records.
Cities keep records
But
of.
would they keep my name?
It depends on
Unless
where
your
your
name
parents were
changed.
from,
Did they-
or
Where did you get your name?
it's possible.
They named me it at the monastery.
Well,
Well, they
How
might
well
have
can-
documentation of bringing you there or dropping you off.
and how knowledgeable is the book? Does it know? If we say Alma, does it know that it means whatever her parents?
Can the
But
Father
Xavier's
has-
looking
Well-
into it, so we can just ask Xavier
Well, if it
later.
knows how important it is to us, it probably knows us.
can it
But we
discern?
don't know.
I would
it knows
think
that.
so.
Yeah.
Can it discern intent? So if we say something like how to cure Hayfried's kind of petrification, can the book discern what we're thinking of and link it to something that's been written in
I
magical
don't.
terms?
I didn't get that sense, but we could test it.
That's why I think.
By
I think
asking
at this point we just have to
different
test
questions.
it
We
now.
have to try. Yeah.
We have a lot of questions that'll be answered when we do it.
I don't
Because we
think.
could say Olma, but if your name is something different in a record, they might know you're in the book now, and the book knows
We-
Olma.
But
we
it could
can-
also.
It must, right? Because how else is it to tether all this information together except to be intuitive about it?
I
Magic.
think so. I
Well,
don't magic.
Which one do we want to go with? Do we want to vote?
We could use my name as
We
well.
could vote.
Because
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Seeker's not written anywhere officially.
What is your name?
Yeah.
Gideon.
Thank you. Somebody listens and not just takes swords
Sorry,
back.
and sometimes things
I
are
do
just.
listen.
You kind of yell lots of names.
Tarka.
I've heard Tarka, I've heard Seeker, I've heard Gideon. So I actually don't know what your name is.
I like
She's
it that
right.
way.
Some people have a couple names
Oma.
and whatever. Well, I guess we don't know if your parents.
Do you have a last
Named
name,
you.
Oma?
Marsk.
Did they give that to you at the monastery also?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Huh.
All right, which one do we want to start with?
I'm voting for soup.
That makes one.
I don't know.
I could go soup or petrification first.
Okay.
Soup, this guy says.
What about you guys?
Petrification.
Look,
I-
I don't think we have a limit. Why don't we do the soup and petrification? And if it feels good, we go ahead and go right into the big one.
Okay, but I want to do soup first. That's my vote.
All
Because,
right.
hey, okay. So because
Listen, I can't deny my curiosity at this point.
when we get back,
Oh, Kellic.
if we get the recipe, we can make it.
Yeah, exactly. There's that area we just put stuff in or think about it. We can just probably just think about the perfect recipe and it'll make it, and then I can try it right now. And then if I don't like it, I don't like soup.
Maybe you
mushroom
just
soup.
don't like mushrooms, Flynn.
Well, that's what we're about to find out.
Have you
Vote
only
for
had the
soup,
mushrooms that
Cecily.
I've prepared for you? My God.
It's okay.
Quite
We're
right.
already outvoted.
How do
There's
you go
already
your whole
3
life without
people who
having
vote for
mushrooms?
soup.
We'll do petrification next.
If
If we survive.
Imagine if it's hard. I mean, it's getting more important to me the more we talk about it.
Stop.
Stop thinking
I'm sorry.
about
I'm
it.
so excited.
We'll just do we have to hold hands or something? How do we get this thing started?
Let's all open the book together.
Okay,
I'll
one
hand-
second.
I'll
One
hand the
moment.
book
One
to
moment.
Seeker.
Hold on.
One moment.
Oh, another moment? How
Yes.
long have we been talking about this?
I know.
Let's
This
just
is
do it.
this is important.
We can't always
Because
rush.
if it gets, like maybe it turns out mushroom soup is how you save the world, and it's like the heaviest question.
Well,
And I
Can't be
and then,
possible.
and then
think
as I
in some ways, you could argue that it's an important step.
Alec.
I'm
Don't
just
make
saying.
it more important.
Oh, sorry.
and as I say that, I flip up I flip up to my forefinger and middle finger, and in between it is a card with the blue dragon on it, and I look at everybody and I say, because if it gets very dangerous, I may have to use this, and you should all know that this thing almost killed me.
I don't think
What?
you should use that.
I don't think I should use it, but if it comes to saving your lives, I will.
Wait,
The
I have
card?
a question. I have a question.
What?
When we go inside,
Yes,
does all of our stuff come with us?
I hope.
Oh,
Yes, I do. Yes.
good. Good.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Okay.
I
Good plan.
think
We're
we may
going to
as
talk
well.
about that later.
About what?
About the card.
Yes, please don't use that card.
You can't.
Unless it's
think-
absolutely
I
necessary.
think
But
maybe
That's what I'm saying.
keep
But
it
take care of it.
Your lives are
safe.
absolutely necessary.
Unless like we're fighting another dragon, maybe,
Let's hope.
or like a Tito-sized
or like a
problem.
big Aarakocra tearing open a hole in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that seems
right,
like
that was an appropriate time.
Or
Not-
like if you're all
that
dying.
seems like
I
not
will
a
use
very
it.
common occurrence. I mean, it's already happened to me twice, and I'm only 12, so I guess it's not that uncommon.
You died twice?
No, the portal being open
Oh.
Also,
and like ripping a hole in the universe. You know that whole thing.
Scared me.
while we
Yes, I
are
was concerned.
doing this, I could use help naming our new dragon friend.
Oh.
It needs a name.
Yeah, why does he need a name?
Why not?
Does it?
It saved our lives. And
Did you-
I get to.
I just thought it was a magical.
well, I was kind
How
of in its
How
head,
about
and it was.
blueberry?
Does it?
I think
I
that's
was,
a
I like
great
that
name,
name.
Olma.
I was thinking
It's blue.
like Shreya or something, but I kind of like blueberry. Yes.
I think
Well,
blueberries.
Do we
Great.
need to sort this out like
No.
right now?
No, it's not a rush.
So we vote blueberry.
Well, also, I'd be curious to know what the dragon would like to be
Oh,
called
yeah.
as well.
Oh, that's
They're sentient.
Maybe it has a
Is
name
it-
already.
It was.
blueberry.
It's a good. No, I heard all kinds of thoughts. It was hungry and
It was hungry.
it wanted to.
I've heard that before.
It did take a big
What did it
bite
want
out
to
of
do?
Tito.
It
So,
wasn't very filling.
Don't know.
it was
Yeah,
ethereal.
it would
It was
seem
like
not
air.
to be.
Do
Don't
you
know
think
what
it's
the
still
palate of
hungry in
dragon
the
is like.
card?
Guys, we're getting off
One thing
topic.
at a time. One thing at a time.
Let's get the mushroom soup.
Yeah.
Give it to the dragon.
Oh,
Mushroom soup to the dragon.
What do we need to do? Do I have to touch you or something to come with you or what?
yes. How do we all have to think the question?
We all have to stand in a circle around the book and hold hands and wish together to go in.
I thought we had to open the book
Yeah.
and start reading.
Always holding hands.
Okay, I'll hold hands.
You're the one that did it, so I'll hold my hands out. And
I'll put my hands out.
next to the book. We put in the
If
book on
we're
the
all
ground.
holding hands, who's opening the book?
Oh,
I'll reach down and open it, and then
Whose hand are you holding?
I'm holding. Hi, Flynn.
Hi. Yep.
Yes.
yes, Tonka.
Yes. Okay.
How are you going to open the book now?
I'm
Both
going
your
to let
hands
go.
are
I'm going
occupied.
to release one of my hands and
Take-
reach down and
Hold
hold
his
it.
hand.
I take
and take
Nestle's
Flint's
hand,
hand.
and I take Calyx's
Okay.
hand.
Yeah. Flip the book.
All right.
Mushroom soup, mushroom soup, mushroom soup, best mushroom soup in the world.
As Seeker opens the book, you all look to the pages, and for the moment, you don't even remember yourself seeing the pages or seeing any words on the page before you feel yourself rushed forward with an immense speed as you're all teleported inside of the book. As you all land, your feet immediately hit a wooden surface on the ground. And as you look around, you can see dim light from torches and sconces. As you look around and you see wood on the floor, and you see in front of you a massive wooden, almost like a front desk. And you see these intricate carvings into the desk.
Yay.
And you see beyond the desk rows and rows and rows, an infinite labyrinth of bookshelves.
What?
As you see them all going and extending on there are these rows and columns of bookshelves that extend off into infinity. You can't even see the end of them. And just as they extend forward in front of you, you look up and they also extend way up beyond your vision, and they extend even below that. And you look around and you see the largest, like infinite library that you have ever seen. And behind this front desk, you see one figure, humanoid, about human height. But you see, while most of them looks human, you can see that their skin itself very much resembles the outside of the book, where it looks like pieces of leather that are sort of stitched together. No hair, but very, very fine clothing. You can see this figure wrapped in a very just dapper blue suit. As they look up to you with milky, dead eyes. What can I help you with?
I'm like nudging Flynn.
No. We are in the book.
Yeah, this is
It's just
crazy.
a
We are in
library.
magic.
Do you guys think we have to keep holding hands?
I don't.
Oma, let go of my hand.
Oma,
I'm
it's
gonna
fine.
let go of Oma's hand.
My name is Husk, and I am your curator. As he bows and extends his hands.
Hi, Husk.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Oma.
Hello, your
Lovely to meet you.
name's not creepy at all.
I am here to assist with whatever knowledge you all require. So, what may I provide for you?
I look to Kellic.
We would like to know.
No, don't ask, Kelly. It's important to you. I'll
Well,
ask.
that would make it the best, though, right?
No, because
No, it'd make it the hardest.
means
I'll ask, because I don't even
Yes.
want to ask this question. What is the best recipe for mushroom soup in the written world?
They always start easy. As he reaches down below the desk and pulls out this copper scale with it's one of those tea scales that has the sort of baskets on either side. And he looks to all of you, and out of thin air, he pulls this glowing white orb. The weight of this question, of importance to you, historical context, and possible use within this world. As he places it,
I shudder a little bit.
as he places it down on the counter,
Good thing Kalik did not ask.
and out of the other hand, he wisps it through the air and pulls out this little feather. Puts it on one side of the scale,
The weight versus a feather.
and he puts the ball of energy on the other side of the scale. You can see the scale almost imperceptibly tilts towards the glowing orb. The weight is small as he turns around to this massive labyrinth behind him. And he puts his hands up And almost like he is shifting a massive door to the side, he rips his hands through the air, and this infinity of bookshelves begins whooshing past at an incredible speed. You're almost all knocked off your feet with the wind that comes with it, as he puts his hands up and stops it from rotating left. And then, in the same way, he grabs up and pulls down as this massive infinity of bookshelves whoosh goes past and starts barreling down as he puts his hands back up and stops. He very calmly walks forward up to one of these bookshelves, very slowly grabs a rolling ladder over to one of the bookshelves, starts climbing the ladder, grabs a book, puts it under his arm, climbs down the ladder.
I have a question. While he's doing that, could I get closer and just enough to maybe see the books? Can I read? Do they have any spines like with words on them? Can I like maybe...
They're at this point, they're a little too far away for you to read anything. They're about 20 feet away.
Okay.
But if you're trying to read something on the spine of a book,
there are
that's
words?
20 feet away. They look like books. They look like regular books. He puts the book under his arm and moves the ladder down a little bit, grabs another book. After a couple minutes, he grabs about 5 books.
Told you everyone was going to have different opinions on what the best mushroom soup was.
That's what makes it so exciting.
It's not exciting.
He comes back over and he says, "Opinion is a difficult thing. I have, however, found 5 books that have been accordingly written about as having good recipes. They have been verified by others. Others have written in journals their pleasure of the recipes that are in this book. But like I said, opinion is difficult. So, to the best of my knowledge, you will find some of the best mushroom soup recipes within these books. Good luck." As he places them down on the table, the bookshelves start to fade away and whisper into shadows and smoke. As you look around the entire library around you, the sconces all go out. The library around you wisps away as all of a sudden, out of seemingly nowhere, 3 gargoyles made of stone descend down, grab the books, and begin to fly off in different directions. As you all of a sudden look around, you see the landscape around you begins to change and fade as all of a sudden you're in an open field. You can see blue sky above you, an open field. I'm going to have everyone roll initiative.
Let's go.
We're going to have to fight gargoyles
Coming in
for
hot.
the books?
That was
Do it.
3 gargoyles
So you
for
said 3
mushrooms?
gargoyles came down.
These
There's 5
recipes are
books.
going to
Yes.
be good.
So I'm guessing some have more books than the others.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes, 2 of them have 2, and then 1 of them has 1.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Kellic.
4. You have advantage, right, from your coat?
Is it still advantage if I'm wearing my winter clothes?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sweet.
So as the clothes around you just sort of tighten
Better.
a little bit and the hairs stand up on end, you get the sense that something is about to happen just mere moments before the gargoyles descend down. Olma,
14.
Thessaly.
4.
8.
Ooh.
Twins.
Who's got the higher dex?
I'm +2. Probably-
Fun.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Kellic goes first, then Thess. Seeker.
14 twinsies with Olma.
Who's got the higher? I would think Olma might
Olma,
have the
I'm a
higher
plus
dex.
3.
3.
We're tied.
Okay, so I'm gonna have both of you. Well, who wants to go? Who wants to go first?
I'll roll.
Or we
I
can
don't
roll.
care.
Roll it.
Yeah.
For it.
exciting.
For it.
Just a straight roll.
And
7.
Hey.
Seeker goes first.
this time.
Flynn.
24.
24.
Ow, ow!
Advantage plus a lot is pretty good.
Advantage?
So, Flynn,
Yeah.
immediately as you see these gargoyles descend down, you get the jump on them. So as soon as they grab the books, they are 5 feet in front of you.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Oh boy. Let me think. Let me look at my spells really quick. You said they're gargoyles, right?
Gargoyles currently 5 feet in front of you, and it looks like they are going to attempt to take off and fly in different directions.
Yeah. Are they? Okay. I'll just do it. And we'll see what happens. So I think back to the magic I know, and I notice he's about to be off and far away. I will rub my fingers together, swipe on the ground towards them as the magic is kind of dragged behind my fingers. And as I let it go, a ripple of energy kind of goes right towards them, and under them erupts as I cast Shatter. I'm near all of them.
Okay. Are you going to need something from me?
It's a 10-foot radius. So I don't know if they're all in that.
Yes, they would be.
They need to make Constitution saving throws.
Okay.
And are they made of inorganic materials such as stone, crystal, or metal?
They are made of stone.
They have a disadvantage.
Hey.
Okay. So we'll start with the one on the left
Sure.
at disadvantage.
Mhm.
That's an 8.
Fails.
Okay. The next one in the middle.
Yep.
That's a 6.
Yeah, come on.
And the one
Get 'em.
on the right. That's a 9.
Yeah! Awesome. Okay, so they take damage. So that
Okay, how much
They
is-
damage
auto
is that?
chatter.
No, I think it's just the saving throws at disadvantage because of their form. So they're going to take 3. This. 18 points of thunder damage to each of them.
Okay. As they take their first, all 3 of them take their first flap up into the air.
They're done.
Immediately, boom, they crumble.
Yeah.
All 3 of them crumble and scatter on the grass in front of you.
Whoa!
No shit.
No way!
Oh, that's
I guess
As
it
the
was
books,
a pretty easy
the books
question.
also fall onto the ground.
good job, Flynn.
Yeah.
Or you're really strong. You're so strong.
I look at my hand. Huh. I haven't cast that in a while. Well, I guess it's over, and I'll look around
I will
to see if-
try not to rush over to the books, but fail. And I want to pick one of them up.
Okay. As soon as you pick it up and notice now you are back in the library. You see the desk right in front of you. You're holding one of the books. The rest of the 4 books are very neatly stacked all together. As you now see Husk in front of you once more.
Hi, Husk.
Hello.
That was fun.
That was pretty fun.
Like I said, the first one is always easy.
Husk.
Yes.
What are the?
Wait, before you ask a
Hold
question.
on.
I'm working my way through these
Yeah,
books.
let's look at the book.
Wait,
I am
no,
not
no.
asking the next question.
But
I-
maybe they think it's a question.
Any question
you know,
I think
like
is going to be
They
bad.
might only perceive questions as ones that they can answer.
I am a fairly thinking creature. I am able to discern what is a question for myself and what is a question that you would like me to look
yeah,
up.
guys.
Sorry.
Let Husk think for
Well, I didn't-
themselves.
I didn't know that they.
I just want to ask Husk if you can tell us the basic rules of this place. We have a sense of it, but wondering
oh
if you
yeah,
could
like
tell
can we
us
take
more.
the books out?
Yeah, what do we do with these? Do we have to read through them and find it ourselves?
Yeesh, guys.
So, the way that this happens, once you all arrive, you may present me with a query, something that you would like to know more about, and if it has been written about in the entire history of Elbor, I will be able to find it for you. The weight of that knowledge to you, to the world, the possible impact that it might have, will be weighed into the challenge that will be presented before you. As I said, soup is not too impactful. Personally,
Well,
you may enjoy soup, but it does not have an overwhelming impact on the world. So yes, you are presented with a challenge, though the challenge fairly simple.
Does it matter? You don't have to put your hand up,
Oh,
Flynn. If does it matter if the impact is good or bad, or is it just magnitude?
It is simply magnitude. I am not here to judge good or evil. I am only here to disperse knowledge. Because while some knowledge may be used for good or evil, knowledge itself does not have such connotations to it.
I got the sense that the last people to use this were
evil or very bad in their intent. Can you tell us who they were?
I keep a strict level of confidentiality with past clients.
There is my hand again.
Go ahead, Flynn.
Thank you. So if Kellic would have asked the question, he seems to want it more. Would it have been more gargoyles?
You are all here. Who asks the question is not of substance.
Oh.
It is simply your collective intention as you come in.
Kellic is the reason we had 3 gargoyles instead of 2.
I'm so sorry. It was such a burden for us.
I mean, it was a good thing I was here because I took care of him like that.
Now, you asked if the books are able to be taken.
I did, yeah.
I am not able to grant you that. What I am able to do is, if you all look behind you, I have created a personal bookshelf for you all. The knowledge and the books that you are rewarded can be kept there.
Ah.
You have access to them at all times, but you are not able to take the books themselves.
But we don't have to, ask, we don't have to fight again to get these same books.
Once the knowledge is yours, it is yours.
Cool!
So do we have
Can
to-
I, take notes? Or do I need to commit the recipe to memory?
You may take notes. As you can all see, everything that was on your person before you entered the book is currently on your person. It works the other way as well. If you were to create a document in here, you would have that document outside.
Okay.
The physical nature of the books in here, however,
Stay here.
do not remain stable if attempting to leave.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And if we fail to pass the test, we lose the knowledge forever.
The knowledge is lost to you forever.
Only
The
to
knowledge
us.
is lost to the creatures that are inside, that have the intent of finding that knowledge.
Ah.
But, what do you get out of this, Husk?
All of the knowledge that has ever been,
But
or ever will be.
giving it to us, does that mean something to you?
I am simply the curator of this collection, and it has brought me more joy than I can possibly describe to share knowledge.
You do seem
With
very
others.
happy, yeah. If
I have experienced more in one day than any of you might possibly experience in a lifetime. I am
Look at
privy.
there's no time passes here.
Yeah, I
so
don't
it's
really
all
think that's a
one
fair
day.
comparison.
do you get older?
I
Whole
am.
lifetime is one day.
I am privy to the poems of a young boy who has found his first love, and I get to experience that. I get to experience the anguish of a mother who has lost her son to the war. I get to experience every joy, trial, tribulation of every creature who has ever written anything down.
Do you ever leave? This
Do
place?
not. I have no need to.
Or do you get lonely?
I have my books. I do not get lonely.
Can you read the messages that go on my magic scroll that disappear?
He smiles. Oh no.
It's written down, Seeker.
Yeah, but maybe don't ask for it, because that sounds like a pretty heavy ledger.
Oh, Seeker, that means people could find our correspondence if they open this.
Well, they could find all manner of things.
They'd have
birth
to
records,
ask for it, though.
We
any
definitely-
We don't
diary
have to
entries we've made in our lives, anything written.
Oh my,
That has so many options.
we could read any
We could read
You
all of the
know-
correspondence between
Artemisia.
yeah,
Codamvo.
And
what they're planning to do.
it's overwhelming.
That's
I have one last question before we dive in, if that's okay.
God, I have so many
So,
questions.
and I'm just trying to understand this. If one person comes in here, asks a question, and fails, that person or whoever's in there at the time of that question can't ever ask it again. Can't gain that knowledge. So we could split up and do.
Well, what does it mean to fail and not die? Is that, or are they one and the same? Because if you're dead, then obviously you lose
Not
the
all
knowledge.
challenges are
To the death.
to the death. If
oh
something is of such magnitude that I feel a life is required in the balance, then that may come about. But for most queries, simple failure would be having the knowledge lost to you.
Okay.
Oh, like if the gargoyles flew away.
They would take it with them,
And they're gone.
and then we
And
don't.
then they're gone forever.
Right.
So
Precisely.
that challenge, they weren't going to fight us. They were just going to take the books away.
Precisely.
So
I get it.
to finish-
I'm smart. I understand.
Great.
Congratulations,
Finish my thought.
Alma.
So, if, let's say, only I came in to ask about the soup, would I still face 3 gargoyles, or would it be tailored to just a solo person?
The weight is the same. The challenge is the same.
Thank you. Soup?
I'm already looking for.
I'll turn around and
looking
see.
through this book for the
Yeah,
soup
I'll
recipe.
walk up and
grab a book
I'm
as
gonna
well,
transcribe it to my.
I'll
notebook.
start writing one of them down, and I'll pull up my book, and I'll
As-
start writing some down.
Kellic, as you start looking through the books, at first you are surprised and a little bit confused and shocked because you flip through the first couple pages and they're completely blank. And you start flipping through the entire book. There are only 2 in the first book that you're flipping through. There are only 2 pages that are filled out, and only those two pages have the recipe
Because
for
you didn't ask for a
mushrooms.
recipe book. You only asked for mushroom soup. So it only gives you what
Exactly.
you asked
Yes,
for.
okay.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
And the other, I'd like to turn to Husk as I'm copying it down. Do you translate this? I noticed it's written in common. I assume not all of these books are written in that.
In fact, the book you are reading in front of you is originally transcribed in Dwarvish.
Amazing.
yeah, I can
you
read
could-
this one.
You could use. I mean, if you found a book you couldn't read, you could go to Husk and ask about that book and have it translated.
Yeah. You better hold on to this book.
Marvelous.
Wait, what?
It's strange that this book used to be in the hands of our enemies. You could see how they're so well informed.
I still want to know who had it, but fine.
I have a
I think
question.
That
We
is
know who
not
had it.
information I am able to give you.
I think we know who had it.
Is it written?
Unless it is written.
I have
Probably a
another
workaround.
question, but it might require a trial. So maybe
Maybe
we
hold it.
ask
Maybe
it
just ask
I
us.
can
Oh, would you let
distinguish.
us-
I would let you know.
if it's a trial.
Yes.
Are you the only Husk?
To my knowledge, I am the only one of my kind.
To my knowledge.
Yeah. no.
Well, written things and such. They
Yeah.
only know as much as they know.
Well, we definitely have to keep this hidden and safe.
Oh, it's a very powerful tool.
That they do not have anymore.
Do we want
How
to?
often do people trap themselves here, Husk? I imagine there are those that, since time doesn't pass, would just spend ages learning from you. Does that happen?
Well, the last person to do that was me.
Oh, and then you just stayed.
There's
Precisely.
still. Are there still people on trials right now?
Not at the current moment.
We
We all
I know, but-
occupy.
Someone else could pick the book up right now and ask a question.
Oh, we
Technically.
are.
Because we're inside it.
We could all technically ask the question separately,
Well-
spaced out, and then all be in the book, separately solving it. I'm confused.
Because no time passes outside the book when time passes inside the book.
No one
So,
can actually come
yeah,
and pick it up.
Right,
not-
So you will be
Continuously in and out. You're right.
you will be out at the exact moment that you came in.
Huh. That makes sense.
So, question 2?
Or do we want to try the soup first?
No, we can wait on the soup. Just
we
write
could try
down the
the soup.
recipe.
Yes. I've
Okay,
got,
and I'll finish writing down the one book that I had. And, I'll write the rest of them down. I
yeah.
guess.
Can we just get all of them?
If you want to transcribe all
Yeah,
of the
I'll
books-
just-
yeah.
I'll
just-
So as Husk pointed out to you behind you, there is a smaller bookshelf behind you that you're able to put these books on,
Mhm.
as well as a very long and ornate table with that has like quills and ink and just a little area for if you would like to transcribe.
I will. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
write down them.
I'll
and
hastily
stuff them in the
scribble.
bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Petrification.
It does strike me.
I don't know if we should ask that.
Sorry, Kelly, what were you saying?
But I'm thinking, if it's possible to fail without dying, we could simply slip up a bit and let the gargoyles escape and then the knowledge be lost forever. Is it worth the risk of tiring ourselves out, pursuing the one answer instead of the priority?
That's what I was thinking.
I think we get a gist of how it works now, but I also think maybe we should, split? Because if we fail, we can never know how to turn the ritual off. But if you guys wait outside, and then me and two other people or one other person...
we work together, we're less likely to fail.
Right. We should weigh the importance of the question we're asking with how willing we are to fail. Because if we ask an incredibly big question, it might be better to have everyone here and risk failure.
Maybe.
I assume that the code on vote question is the life or death one. That's
right.
It literally is.
Yeah.
I don't want it to cost a life. I don't want anyone in here to give their life for the sake of...
But if we fail, it will.
Right.
Right.
Which is why we do it together.
Exactly.
No, if we fail, people can still die.
There's merit to what he says. Because, let's say we are in here and Flynn is out and we don't get the information. He can go back to the Iron Light and get other people to come with him and help him fight.
But also, there are other ways to solve Kodamvo's issue without turning off.
Me letting him out.
No, I think there might be other ways too.
I guess we can ask.
Well, I turned Eldra into a dragon. Maybe I can turn somebody into Kodamvo.
Well, Seeker had pitched an idea about simply disguising himself as Kodamvo.
But where would we go? How do we know where his contact is?
He told us. He said he has to be...
In Stillgate?
In Stillgate.
A massive city?
It might also
where
be...
in Stillgate?
It might also be written down.
We could find the location of their meeting place.
Maybe.
That might be less costly.
He seems very...
And I could turn people into it, and I could turn another person into his little...
Yeah. Well, I think...
Oh, that's another worry.
Well, I think this is a good idea. Let's all do it. And if we fail, then we can maybe, instead of finding the cure, find more information that'll help us trick.
I
think it's worth the risk.
Yeah.
Well, the risk of... We're merely spreading the risk out this way, though. It's either we take the full risk now of this life or death question, or we take the risk later of trying to impersonate Kodamvo to a bunch of creatures that can...
Yeah.
If the Mind Flayers are any part of it at all, I don't know. The Drow... But if the Mind Flayers are there, they'll be able to tell that we're not him. They can read thoughts.
We might be able to ask other questions to give us a way to make it work.
How many trials do we want to undergo?
Let's just ask the question. You wanted to ask the question, Kellic, so let's ask the question.
I'll only do it if we're all on board.
I'm on board.
I'm prepared.
I'm on board.
We just won't fail.
Are we good with... We want to go past the petrification question for now?
I think so.
I don't want to get tired.
Yeah,
I think
I've
that's
already
why
used some of my magic.
I'm already tired.
Exactly.
That's your own fault.
Wait, should we rest before we ask this question? How tired are you?
We could do the petrification and then come back tomorrow and ask.
Sounds like I don't think the petrified people are going anywhere.
They're not,
whereas...
but maybe we should all be fully well rested because if Seeker's tired.
Oh.
There is merit to that as well.
So maybe we ask it the slightly lesser, but it's still an important question, but it's not as important.
We could.
Or we could ask about something else.
We have a couple more days before
we have time.
Kodamvo's
and no time passes in here.
threat comes about. So yes. Ask this question, and then maybe while Seeker gets some rest, some of us can
just do smaller questions.
Find whatever ingredients we need to.
I'd love to know the lemon pastry recipe.
Well, I was just gonna say to cure the petrification, but
oh yeah, petrification. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm thinking about food. I'm hungry.
I don't understandable.
Kodamvo?
Well, no.
I think we're gonna wait petrification
because I think Seeker should be at the top of his game.
Okay.
Unless you have issue with that, Seeker.
Oh, I'm okay. I will go either way.
Let's wait.
Yeah, let's do petrification and then let Seeker rest a bit, and we can do more tomorrow.
Husk, as you are the discerning type, maybe you can help us ask this question in the appropriate way. Our friend Hayfried has done some troubling things in his past. He cursed a number of people to be turned to stone in such a way that even from what I understand, my magic can't cure. Can you give us access to the knowledge that will allow people within our means to cure that petrification?
Interesting. Do you know by which means that they were petrified? In order for me to narrow down the selection,
Maybe
don't
we can
know.
ask
require a
Casey.
bit more information.
Yeah, we
How
can
many
ask
ways
Casey.
are there?
I don't
Well,
know.
let's not take a guess.
I don't know.
like-
Did he? Yeah, he could have done any number of ways.
So we'll ask him. Maybe we can send him a little note.
Because we know what was it a basilisk that we learned
think I
about
remember
that
hearing
could
about
turn to stone. So
basilisks,
like,
yeah.
We read about the
He might have
basilisk.
cast a spell. He might have shown them to a
Could we
basilisk.
just do that? Basilisk petrification.
No, I don't think he has a basilisk.
No, but I don't
Wait.
think he has. But I think that's what petrified them, or he's
Well,
petrified.
I don't think that's what
We don't know.
petrified them.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's kind of a sore subject.
But maybe we can ask him how he petrified them.
but it
we
would
can.
be cool to. This could be a nice gift for him.
Is it worth doing it the wrong way? Just surprising.
Well, we
I-
also. I don't think I want him to know we have this book.
Oh, sure, but we can just ask
We can just
him
ask.
how. Because I did tell him I was going to work on fixing it.
Okay.
So I could just ask him how he did
Say
it in
that
the
we want
first
that
time.
in order to find the right way. We can. No. Well, go on board then.
Or
I
we
think
can
we
just,
should
or we can just
Or we call it
leave.
a day. And,
we
Yeah.
rest. I think Seeker needs more rest.
Right. I do think this is very important. So we should.
And Xavier
take it
wanted us
seriously.
to contact him.
Xavier does.
I want to
That is-
contact him and see what's going on.
We
That
could
is,
use Timmy's mirror, right?
Yeah. I also would love to check in on the Iron Light.
Let's just see what notes that he left
And
for
Timmy
us,
left
because maybe
things.
he left a note for
Mhm.
her.
Oh,
For
yeah, he did.
All
Thanks
right.
so much, Mr. Husk.
Thank you, Husk. We'll be back. We
Thank
have
you.
many questions to
Yeah.
ask.
It is always my pleasure. He gives you another deep bow, and he reaches out onto his desk where there's a little copper bell. Where he taps his hand on the bell, and you hear a little chime. You all open your eyes, and you are back in the void.
Whoa.
As right in front of you, the pages of the book flip and fold and fold and fold and fold and close.
That was so cool.
As much as I can't wait to try these recipes, I do think we should get that other answer as soon as we can.
Yeah. What did
Seeker, you get to bed right away. Take care of
It's
yourself.
bedtime, mister.
That's right, Seeker. Go to bed now.
I go to
Bed.
the bed layer and
You see that the bed platform is floating out on one of the
Oh, we
floating
have to
circles.
bring it. Timmy said there was something over
Look at
here.
his notes.
And I'll go to the notes, to the area where he pointed, and I will try and find
Okay.
how to bring platforms.
Okay, you look and you see that note that Timmy was writing down that he had just finished is right in front of a couple of books that he said that he would leave for you. And you pick up the note.
Yeah, I'll read it. I'll read it to myself and just see what it says. Doesn't make any sense.
What does it say?
It says to move the platforms, don't just think it, remember it. Remember is all big letters. And it says childhood, love, loss, petrichor, passion.
Petrichor.
What is that?
Petrichor means the
The
smell
smell
of
dirt after a
rain. Yeah.
What does it mean to Flynn?
Wait,
I know that's what the word means.
that's
Smell of
what
dirt after
Tito
rain.
told me.
Yeah, you know how it's kind of has that nice smell to it.
Remember.
I guess it does.
What
I've
do-
never thought about it
Do
too
you have
much.
any memories about dirt after rain?
I mean, I've smelled it. I mean, when it rains.
Yeah, but did anything happen around that time? Do you have any memories?
No. I'll start thinking about the smell of dirt after rain. I'll just let me just think about
Okay.
it. And I'll walk over to one of the edges and just look out at all the platforms and just close my eyes and start thinking about what the dirt smells like after rain.
Okay.
After a few moments, I open one eye. Do I see any of them moving?
I mean, they're all currently moving and
Like,
rotating around the
towards
center,
me.
but nothing is shifting. No.
I don't know. I don't think it's working.
Maybe just focus on the one, the sleep platform.
Okay, and I'll look towards the one with the beds on it and all that, and I'll not close my eyes, and I'll focus on it and think about the smell of the dirt after rain.
Did something happen, Flynn, in your life?
I'm focusing.
Well, think, though. Don't focus. Remember.
Said remember, right?
Well, okay. And I will think back to going on trips with my mom, and during those trips running into bad weather, and we'd have to pull off and kind of set up camp a little early just to hunker down on the side of the road. And I will think of, just laughing and enjoying the time with her while we're just huddled under the camp and that smell that came along with it.
Okay. You think about that.
Does anything happen?
It does not move.
Guy, it doesn't work. I don't get it.
Did it rain much in Maple Glen? Was there?
Yeah, it's a port town, so the weather is pretty crazy there.
But you don't have any memories along with that?
No. I mean, I just thought of one, and it didn't seem to really move anything.
Can you read the note again?
Yeah. And do you want to try something maybe? It says other words.
Okay.
It says, don't just think, remember it. Childhood, love, loss, petrichor, passion.
Childhood, love, loss, petrichor,
They're all
passion.
like in a line. They're not like, yeah.
So is that one thing, or is it
To move
different
the
commands?
I'll show can I show?
Yeah, it's written on a note.
I don't want- yeah.
I'm gonna kind of like mosey my way over, and I'm gonna try to pull. My intention is to pull the bed platform down, and I'm gonna think about pulling it down and being really tired and just needing a rest. And I'm gonna think about how exhausted and weary I was when I was leaving the monastery through the woods and the mountain. And think about how weary I was after we all exited the caverns and it was raining together when we first were running from fire giants, and we exited the lair and it was like raining on us, and the funeral that we put on for Penelope, and the dirt symbols that Kellic drew, and like smell the air and feel the loss and the love of the family that was about to create life, and how exhausted I was most of the time throughout that entire journey as I'm trying to bring the beds down.
Yeah, we're onto something, I think.
The platforms do not move.
Yeah.
I'm still okay.
Hey.
Can I see the note, please?
Yeah, here.
What did you do? What did you
I
try?
thought of just a memory of, something that I had that's dear to me.
I thought about how tired I was.
relating to these words.
Relating to that rain smell.
That's one of. Maybe try thinking of something that relates to all of them in the order that they are written.
Feeling love and loss at the same time.
No. Think of,
Sequentially.
yes, like in order. Like think of childhood and then love. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you?
Seems like a lot to do all
I don't know
for
what-
just one platform.
I'm not really sure I know what petrichor is, though.
It is the smell of
It's,
after the rain hits the
That's what
dirt.
that is? I didn't know that was...
Yes, it's,
okay.
it's,
okay.
it's how to describe a certain smell.
Okay, I can try again. Don't interrupt me.
I'm gonna sit down and put my backpack and kind of lay on it and just like this could take a while.
I will do the same. I'll take my backpack off because it's heavy. And I will walk over to the edge of the platform, see the bed roll again. I will focus on it, and I will think first about me as a kid. And I'll think about running around with my friends on our little adventures together. and how I felt and how optimistic I was. And then I will think of arriving home to a warm cooked meal by my parents as I arrive back at the shop just as sun is setting, and telling them what I got into that day, and just realizing how intently they were listening. And I always liked that they really just showed that they cared. And then I will fast forward a little bit to a more recent memory of one of our friends leaving for a noble cause, but still feeling that empty hole that's still there right now of a missing friend. And then I will once again think of the memory of pulling off on the side of the road during a trip with my mom to do some camping, and the smell of that rain and the dirt. And then I will think of
What will you think
What
of?
will you
interrupting
think? I wonder who.
Man.
I will think of I will think of my book with all its spells and incantations and unlearned knowledge that I still have yet to uncover, and how immensely I want to understand all of it. And I will just focus on that freaking platform.
And as you're remembering all these things, you close your eyes and you're picturing them in your head. You're really feeling them. You open your eyes and the platform is connected to the central platform.
What?
Oh, hey! What, did you see it move? It's here now.
Good job.
You have to feel through all of that just to... Wow.
Yeah, I just did it in order. So I just kind of thought of a memory, from childhood. Then I thought of love, loss, petrichor, and then passion.
Oh, I just did it in the wrong order.
Well, you want
Oh.
to try pulling a different one down?
No.
Okay. Seeker, you can go sleep now. Bedtime.
Okay. I'll walk over and sit down on a bed, and I'm going to pull out the ivory tube that contains the parchment with spells from my father, and just start reading them till I pass out, which will be almost instant.
It is very quickly. You get through as soon as you open them up and you look at the first couple of words. Your eyes are already so heavy and you are out.
You only have one
One level.
one level.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, cool.
This
This'll
is the
be
last
good.
one.
Good.
This is the
Yeah.
last one.
So as he's
It's
getting,
like the fastest we've ever blown through exhaustion.
as he's
Walked out.
Aww.
doing that and kind of getting
You
to sleep.
sent me. You already
Should we call Xavier?
Oh yeah. And I'll look around to the table where the books are and the note was. Is the mirror there that we use to talk to Thorcall?
The mirror is on one of the other platforms that's floating around. Currently, you just have the central platform.
Uh-huh.
After Hayfried and Timmy left, the teleportation circle went back out to the rest of them. So currently it's just the central platform and the platform with the beds on it.
Okay. Do we have to bring platforms down one by one, or can we bring multiple down to connect? Are there multiple connection points, or is there only one connection point?
So it is a massive square. So theoretically,
Okay.
you could get four.
Okay, cool.
But then beyond
But then
that,
you
you
can-
can probably attach to the outside of that as well.
Then I will look around and I could bring that one down, and then we could maybe reach out without using your magic, Kellic. I just feel kind of bad. We always ask you to send things,
It's all right. It's,
and it might be better too because we can get a visual.
well, you can get a visual,
Yeah.
right, and they
And-
can see you as well.
And I feel like there's some limitations to how long you can talk with your stuff.
Definitely. It requires a lot of power.
Ready? I'm gonna do it again.
All right.
And I'll walk
Can you
over.
think a little bit faster this time?
Okay.
You get kind of a weird look on your
Cool.
face as well, so just
Yeah. First time doing it, did it. Okay, but yeah, I'll make it
I
better.
mean, it was the second time.
You want to
doing
try it?
No,
Okay. And I will walk to the
but
other edge.
it was the second time, or like the third if you consider the other times you've tried before today.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you done?
Mhm.
Okay. And I will walk to the opposite corner or
Okay.
edge so we can bring something down that's furthest away from Seeker, because as I turn around, I probably see
Mhm.
him sleeping at this point. And I will go through those memories again. I will think of running around with the little heroes. I will think of the warm cooked meal and the love and care of my parents. Think of Shraya leaving. I will think of the smell of the dirt. And then I will think of, just all of the endless knowledge that I can learn.
Okay. And this time you're able to, while running through those memories in your head, you're able to open your eyes just a little bit more. And you do see, as you're thinking about that, the platform is moving down. It connects to the central platform. That ethereal bridge forms stone in between, and it is connected.
What do you think Timmy
Smiling.
thinks of, when he goes through all of those things?
I don't know that much about Timmy, so I don't know.
It's just, when you're so young like that, it's hard to imagine how.
Well, I mean, he was on a ship and he was in prison, so...
Right, and he was alone on that ship. It's not
Right,
like he
and
was with
he's-
his family, so that's lost for you.
Yeah. And he's learning about magic, too, so maybe he's thinking about the same thing I'm thinking about for passion.
It just seems like there's a limit to this, right? If you're only, I suppose, like anything with magic, but depends on how much experience you have.
Honestly, in my
He
experience,
also
there's
lives
no...
with Hayfried, and Hayfried has a lot of passion. I mean, he's very, very passionate about lots of things.
Is he?
Yeah?
Yeah.
He just seems so
Indifferent.
rough all the
And
time.
I would probably
He's
think
got
about,
a
if I
big
had to
heart,
think
right?
about passion, I would probably think about Paston, because Paston is so passionate about his boat and about sailing.
Well, I think it might have to be something you're passionate about, not
Right.
something somebody else
I think
is.
it's related to you.
Why doesn't it have to be? Maybe it could just be the memory of how passionate he is about
Alma,
it.
but
And
you're
I
very
experienced
passionate.
how passionate he was about it.
Maybe. You'd have to try it.
You've got plenty of passion to go around, though, Ulma.
What is that, though? I don't understand how I could show passion, but I see it in people.
I want to look back up at all the platforms.
Especially a moment you don't show passion, Alma.
Like Paston?
Aye. Much like Paston.
Cool.
And so as I look around, I kind of just see all the possibilities now that are open. The mirror's down. You want to reach out to someone, or
Xavier,
yeah?
right?
Yes, I think that's best. I mean, we could
Do you
check
remember
in his
how-
work code.
We did it.
He twisted some of the dragon heads there, and
Oh, did I do this?
Timmy did it for us.
Timmy did it?
I think all he did was move the dials on there.
I'll just go up to the mirror and
You walk up to the mirror and you immediately remember there's this it's a round mirror, and there's sort of this ornate metal frame to it, and down at the very bottom there is a little depiction of a dragon on there, and you remember that in a certain order he moved the dragon's limbs.
oh, I think you have to move the limbs, but I don't.
What are the possible limbs to move?
There are the 4 legs and the 2 wings.
And where does it look like if I touch the leg? Like, which direction can I move the leg in? Like, how does
It looks like there is sort of an up and a down position
Okay.
for each of them.
What is the current positioning right now?
The current positioning is they are all neutral. They are sort of
okay.
in this neutral
Oh, okay.
position, but you know that you can move them up or down. Those
I'm
are the
gonna-
2 options.
move all of the legs up and the wings down. Or what I'm going to try to do, visualizing this correctly, is make it as though the dragon is flying. So if that means moving the wings up, if that looks more like it's flying, then I'm going to do that.
So what are you deciding on?
Pick way up. Your guess is as good as mine.
What does it look like when it's flying? Like,
What do the wings down look like? They're folded over the dragon's body, or
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Wings down.
So
look
I'm
like
going
folded.
to go wings up, legs up. Yeah.
Everything up.
Think
well,
about.
do legs up look like it's flying?
Well, let's just assume. Yeah, it would look like it's lifting off.
I'll just make this a little easier on you. It would look like if a dragon is flying, it would probably look like both of the wings are up and all of the legs are down.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I would envision too.
Oh, okay, like
because
they're-
they're
like they're
hanging
hanging.
down.
Like they're
Okay, that
hang-
makes sense.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
thinking it would pull them up
Yeah,
so
yeah.
as it was.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'll do
Up,
legs
but I
down,
don't think
wings
it's up.
up.
I don't think it's up like curl. I think
Right.
It's up
Yeah.
raising
It's
the
more
hand.
like a.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's
I'm
that
just
versus
like,
like
out.
sort of
It's
that.
like arms
and then
up instead
wings
of
are up.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I made that more difficult. than
That's
it is.
okay.
I think we got it.
Legs down, wings up.
Legs down,
That's
wings up.
what I'm
Okay.
going.
Let's do this.
Who are you
As I'm
thinking about?
Pulling this thing. I'm thinking about Xavier
Concentrating
Yep.
on Xavier.
and the smell of dirt after rain.
That's core. Okay.
Another platform comes down.
Damn it! Just crashed.
No.
So you think of Xavier, and all of a sudden the mirror begins warping, and almost like a drop in water begins to make those waves. Before in front of you, you just see it almost looks like a red piece of fabric. That's all you see is in the mirror. It's just a red piece of fabric.
This is so disorienting. Alma, come over here. I think I got it working.
Okay.
Xavier. Hello.
What? Who? Immediately you see that as this piece of cloth moves away from the reflective surface, you see Zeta, who appeared to just be like leaning up against a table, and you just happen to see the back of her shirt as she stands up and turns around and looks right into the mirror, and you can see just over her shoulder, Xavier is at a table sort of combining some magical ingredients.
Cool.
Zeta. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you, Zeta? It's good to see you.
I'm
Hi.
doing better. I'm doing better.
Better. How? How do you mean?
I haven't been possessed by anything in some time.
That's good.
You know.
Yeah. Same.
Today's a good day. Yeah. Some days are better than others, but today's one of the good ones.
Are
I'm
they
so glad.
Thank you.
are they treating you well over there?
Yeah. I mean, as well as one can be treated here, it's sort of, you know, a hustle and bustle and soldiers coming in and out. But I think we found a good spot.
That's good. I just want to make sure you're taken care of.
Thank you. Xavier's doing a really good job. And so is Wyron. Wyron's also keeping me in good company.
Wyron.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to hear that. Is Wyron around?
Yeah, well, he just stepped out. Xavier,
Oh,
come
good.
over here. They're speaking through the cauldron. No, come over here.
Zeta, just be careful of Wyron, all right?
Okay.
He might
I
not.
mean, is there a particular reason why?
Xavier's aware of things. He'll tell you if there's a reason to be afraid.
Is he though?
And Xavier comes over and sort of grabs her by the shoulders and thank you very much. I think this might be a bit of a private conversation. So Zeta, if you would be okay with just stepping out for a couple minutes. Yeah, okay. I'll give you your time. And she walks and steps out, and you can hear a door close. And just in front of you, you see Xavier sort of put his hands on his knees and bend over to make eye level with the reflective cauldron that you have appeared on.
Nice.
Hi, Xavier.
Hey, how are you all?
Great. You told us to call
I did.
on you.
Xavier, have you not told Zeta of Wyron's problematic association?
I haven't, and fortunately, I don't think I have reason to. Everything seems to be fine. From the information that I gathered, he was kicked out of the Strata Priana. From what I could find, it seems that his employment there was sort of unpleasantly terminated. He wasn't really in line with a lot of the stuff that they were doing. He seems on the straight and narrow. It just seemed that he took a wrong career turn.
All right. I guess that makes sense why he'd be looking for a job.
But if you have any questions for him, he does know quite a bit about the Strata Priana.
Does he know anything about the
boy.
Codon Vo?
I'm not sure the extent of his knowledge, but he does have some information on the inner workings of their organization if he's someone you want to have a conversation with.
Yeah, maybe later he might be able to tell us like where we have to go or
Yeah.
or information we might need to know if we do have to impersonate anybody.
Oh, boy. Well, what did you want to tell us, Xavier? Because, gosh, there's a lot to know.
Well, that, first of all, and he sort of goes over and grabs one of his notebooks and starts flipping through it. Let me see. Okay, so that was the first thing that I wanted to go over. He seems that he's doing fine. I'm still keeping an eye on him.
Please.
Still sort of looking at the whereabouts, but he seems fine as of right now. And I also, I hired someone to follow him, but we're all good. He seems to be fine. That's the point that I'm trying to get to.
I appreciate your thoroughness.
The other thing that I told Seeker about is I found some information on Oma.
Yeah?
If you'd like to hear, I find it's interesting. I found a town census of who's living there and all that stuff, and I think I've lined up a couple that would have been in the same place at the same time as Olma being dropped off at the monastery. I'm pretty sure I've lined this up. I could be wrong, but if you give me a second, I'm gonna flip through my notes here. And he comes to a couple of pages that he's presumably written down. There is one Clara Cross Bagney and Simon Bagney, who, if I'm getting the timeline correct, were in the right place at the right time. And interesting enough, they were both human, but I don't know if the town got the paperwork messed up or something, but it says here that Clara Cross Bagney has lived to be well over 150 years.
Huh.
I don't know if that was that their mother was also named the same thing and paperwork got shifted, but
That'll happen.
The next layer I could find was a Matthias Cross and a Teresa Crosney Davin, and again, Matthias, I from what I could tell, human, lived a normal lifespan, but Teresa, what I was able to find, has been living for well over 430 years.
Are they elves or?
No, all documentation that I've found says human.
Is there, in this documentation, is there any explanation for why they?
No, it seems, from what I could find, it seems that they were going pretty under the radar. I had to compile a couple of different documents together just to understand this, and it goes beyond any clerical work that would happen in a town. I really had to do some digging for this stuff.
So wait, why? These two people, it said that they had a kid, they had a baby, and that's how you're lining it up, right? Or what?
They had a child, but there was documentation of that child in the town, but no name is given. And then the next year, when a similar census was taken, no report of a child was put in.
And this was Simon and Clara Cross?
Yes.
So you suspect that child is
I
Alma?
suspect that child to be Alma.
Where are they now?
I don't know.
And
After they left the town, the census was incomplete. I don't have names for them.
what? Clara and this Matthias person lived for a long time.
No, Clara and Teresa.
Clara and Teresa.
Clara and Teresa.
And it's the strange thing. I'm going through it.
Teresa being Clara's
Mother.
mother? Ah, I see.
Everyone else, this seems to be, if it is in fact an error, this seems to be the only clerical error of this sort in the entire documentation.
What town was it?
I got these from records of Sunplume, city in, well, the northern stretch of the main bulk of Caldor.
Were there no medical records of these people that often, when we document what we found of these people, how they appeared, how they...
These towns had, and I would even say, an exceptional medical record within both the coroner's office as well as the three doctors that the town had. Extensive records, but no record of sickness, injury, nothing beyond the simple fact that they were there.
What have, signs of aging, needing assistance to locomote, eyesight diminishing,
Nothing. If they even went to, the only explanations that I can think of is if they had a sickness or injury, either they didn't have any sicknesses or injuries, or those records were erased. And I have no information to prove or disprove either of those.
But where are they now? It hasn't been that long. I'm not that old.
That was the other piece of why I think this is your lineage, is because at about the time that you would have been born is when they stopped showing up on this census. They had a year of recording a child with them. The next year there was no record of the child, and the next year there was no record of them. But then also, as I mentioned before, there's no record of their death either.
But they could still be anywhere using any name.
Well, they used these for so long. Would they change it now?
I don't know.
What kind of human doesn't have any illness or sickness?
Or what kind of person erases all their records?
Have you faced any adversity, Xavier, like before, where you're...
I have been much more cautious this time around. The first time I went digging into this stuff, I was put in prison, and that's where you all found me.
Aye. So no...
Since then, I have been much more careful to disguise my whereabouts.
What exactly were you looking into when you were picked up in prison? I know you were looking into a farm, but what else? It was just the farm that caused them to pick you up?
It was these people specifically. I didn't want to have a name provided to you and get your hopes up until I was fairly certain. But I had just gotten wind of just the name of Clara Cross Bagney, and before I could do anything about that, I was taken.
Do you have a theory about this, Xavier? Are you familiar with humans that live supernaturally long lives?
I've seen a few in my studies, and I've read about a few more that creatures called liches can live for extended periods of time, but I know that they tend to, over the years, exhibit signs of decay, and I can't see any records of, if a lich is walking around there, there's usually clear signs visually of the form decaying, but...
Can a lich even have progeny?
That is something I have also never seen.
I only know what I learned at...
You'd think that there would be records of someone who is decaying walking around town if that was...
Unless they erased it, but still...
That would be a lot of probably private journals to erase, which is...
Truly.
You don't think I'm related to a lich? How could I'm not a lich.
It feels possible to me, Anna, that there's some elven blood in your bloodline or something that
touch
would
my
give
ear.
you...
You're human.
No, I'm human.
Well, it doesn't always show up in the form of grey skin. Or
I'm
pale
pretty
skin
sure
or
I'm human.
pointy
I
ears.
feel human.
Well,
You seem very human.
I'm pretty sure I'm human.
I raise my hands up and surrender. I can't think of any other reason.
Well,
unless
maybe it
there's
was
some
just a
form of
clerical
undeath.
error. Maybe they added a 0.
Maybe it's... I mean, Olma, you're very magical. Maybe it's about magic they were using or had.
Does it say anything about them also having magic? In the
I
census?
have not found anything about them using or exhibiting magic, no.
Where do you plan to... Do you have plans to go elsewhere?
Well-
Other leads?
Zeta is my top priority right now, but
Yes.
if I were to move on next, I would probably search around Sunplume, see if I can get some information. I mean, Olma isn't that old. There is probably people living there that would remember these people.
Yeah.
If it's...
What about Teresa and Matthias? Were they also in Sunplume or were they somewhere else?
I have record of them being in Sunplume as well. Where they came from before that, I do not have record of. But it does appear that Matthias, as far as I can tell, Matthias did perish and die in Sunplume of old age. But the records state that Teresa continued living.
Is he buried in Sunplume?
I believe so.
We could talk to him.
I have no reason to believe
You
that he
can't
wouldn't
talk
be.
to somebody who's dead. I just want
I
to see
can.
where he...
What?
We've talked about this before. I have access to some other worldly things, and speaking with the dead for but a moment is one of them.
Is that right?
If his remains are intact.
I mean, I just wanted to pay my respect.
Yeah, we'd have to dig someone
I
out.
mean, hopefully there's someone living we can speak to, but if there's not,
Asking around town might, but that's good to know.
Yeah.
there are advantages to the vows I take, the bonds I form.
Seems that way. So Sunplume?
Well,
Goes on the list.
maybe on after the quote-unquote nonsense.
Yeah.
But I think
If
we
we're
should
still
try.
alive.
If you all head to Sunplume, though, I would exhibit as great of caution as you can. I mean, I was captured previously, and I'm not one to brag, but that is not an easy thing to do.
They captured you in Sunplume?
No, when I was looking up records of Sunplume.
Oh.
I was in Andoria at the time. Andoria is just south of Sunplume. There's a forest in between, but that's beside the point.
Do you think there are people after Alma, or that would wish Alma harm based on her parentage?
As long as she still has her necklace, she
What do you
should be
mean?
fine.
Which one? I have two.
Not that one with the water in it. The other one.
What do you mean?
I mean,
Oh my-
What is that necklace?
that's a very powerful charm,
Well, you
Necklace.
told me that I had to keep wearing it.
and you have not taken it off, have you?
No, but I mean, when the monastery said it was all I had when I came in with, I didn't want to take it off. But what do you? I didn't know. I thought it was just from my family.
In our time together, I did determine that it is a very powerful charm necklace. It was gonna mask your magical signature.
Oh,
It is.
Oh.
It is. Its magical essence is coded directly to Alma.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
I didn't want to worry you.
But what if we could have used it to find somebody?
I don't know that can specifically be used to track anybody more than it's just to hide your specific signature.
you can't use a shield to
But what if
shoot an arrow.
the parents are looking for you and they can't find you because you're wearing that thing?
I think they might have been the ones to put it on her.
Maybe your parents didn't exactly abandon you after all. Alma.
But if I have it, then I could have been with them.
Maybe it was dangerous to be with them.
What if they also had some kind of magical essence that was being hunted?
Then they could also have a necklace.
These things don't grow on trees. It's not so easy to make items like that.
So do you think they're okay without one?
It would explain why they're hard to find.
That was
But
a
they're-
So
thing?
maybe I should just take it off for a little bit, and then we could find out lots of answers really quickly.
I don't think you need to take it off for us to find answers, though, Ulma. I think there's a safer way to go about that. If they put it on you, it was to protect you.
Your parents put it on you?
I don't know.
Well, we don't know,
I
but
had it when
I'm theorizing. I don't know.
It seems likely if it's specifically designed for Alma, the monastery wouldn't do that, I don't think, unless it's a very nice monastery
nobody else had
with
one.
lots of resources.
Do we know why you were at the monastery?
No,
She was left there.
I grew up there.
And they wanted to teach you, but you had different powers?
I don't think they wanted to teach me, but they kept me.
And how did you leave again?
I don't want to talk about
Well,
it.
this is the time, Alma.
It might be important.
Why I left?
It might help us figure out something that's going on with all your
It's not
parentage.
important.
Are you sure?
Yes, it has nothing to do with it.
Well, so you're the Husk now.
What do you mean?
You know everything.
No, I don't know everything.
Then maybe it's important. But if you don't
You
want
don't
to
know that. And I am just gonna like cross my arms and stomp away to the bed, and I'm gonna lie in one of the beds, and I'm gonna put the blankets over my head.
I'll turn to the mirror. You know anything about the monastery and why she was there and why she left?
I think that's something that Olma should talk about. I don't feel privy to give away that information.
Well, if you know,
Though that might be a good place to look as well. If anyone there got a glimpse of the people who dropped Olma off.
What's the name of the monastery?
Yeah,
Olma
where-
seems to be sort of either she's dodging it or she just doesn't think
I
to
not
say.
remember.
yeah, where is it?
It's called Oakengate. It's atop the Raging Peaks mountain range that goes through the Raging Woods in Caldor, just south of Sunplume, just north of Andoria.
Oakengate?
Oakengate.
Okay. Well, maybe that's where we start before Sunplume.
I don't know what it. I mean, Sunplume will know more about her
Have
family.
more direct answers.
Yeah, but
The monastery would only know. And with things like this, I mean, I'm certain that they just left her. They might not have even stayed around if they're dangerous by association. They might have just
And if Alma doesn't know, then maybe the monastery doesn't either.
might not.
kicked her out for some reason, or she
They
left
might
for a
have more
reason.
information on that. I think we just
I
don't
think-
press Olma on that right now.
Remember the conversation we had on the ship then
What?
about Alma and her capacity for
Destruction?
yes.
That's why I feel like we should get answers.
Why? I think we have the answer, Flynn.
What? What is
If
the answer?
you were a monastery in the middle of nowhere, would you want to keep someone around who... And I just sort of like gesture to where Alma's sleeping.
Yeah. That's fair. So, do we need to go there at all?
We'll put it on the list. I think Sunplume is probably has more to tell us.
Something of a last resort. I don't think it's going to have as much information.
Especially because it's up in the mountains. It's more of a trek
But I mean,
that I think about.
Alma was dropped off there. So maybe, like, I think that's what you were saying. Maybe they have that information, and that could be important too.
I mean, Olma
knows?
seems to remember a certain amount of things in her time. She's just not ready to share that with anyone, and we should all respect that. But if we go to Sunplume, we could possibly find out who her parents are and why they went to the monastery in the first place. I mean, that could give us plenty of more answers and circumvent the monastery entirely.
That's fair.
I know it's not part of this sort of grand quest we're on to save Elbor, but
No, but it's important to her.
and knowing what's going on with Alma's power should help her.
Saving Elbor is saving the people in it too. So
Right, one step at a time.
We might even be on our way at some point. So
Imagine.
to travel quite a bit.
yeah. Well, I don't have any other questions. I mean, I didn't really ask much of Xavier, but does anyone else? Should we let? I'm sure you're busy.
I do have a lot going on.
Do we want to ask anything else? Anything else about Sunplume before we head there? If we do,
I think that's all. That's everything I have for now.
we can always reach out later.
Maybe we're talking to Wyron at some point about Code on Vo, but we'll get back to you on that. We're
Yeah.
still.
I'll keep him close.
Xavier, I'm curious to know, who took you when you were looking for these records? Were they regular Caldurian guards and sentry? Who do you know?
They seem to be regular Caldorian military, though they had some fairly powerful mages with them to counteract my magic.
It's unusual for Caldor.
And they
It
knew
is.
they knew all about what you were looking for.
I don't know if they knew what I was looking for, but it seemed that they were there to stop me from investigating any further.
Did they have any different insignias or markings to?
Not that I could determine, no.
Okay.
Well,
We'll just be sneaky, right? We're good at that.
some of us are.
I don't know if that's true at all.
It's all about positivity. Manifest.
Agree to disagree.
Manifest it.
Xavier, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Get back to your work.
I don't know how to turn. I'll just start playing with the legs on the dragon.
All right. And as soon as you do, it clicks into place. The mirror wobbles once again, and all of the dragon's limbs click back into that neutral position.
Okay.
And Xavier is gone from the mirror.
I can't remember. Did Timmy say that we can only do this once?
So once, yes.
Okay. I guess we'll reach out to Zorkol tomorrow.
Do you want me to check on him? Can.
I mean, yeah, if we want to reach out, I think we're going to be hanging out here for a bit, right? So we can kind of use our magic more freely, I guess.
Well, it depends. Do we want to go right back into the book when Seeker wakes up? Or do we want to all take a rest?
I'm fine with waiting until you feel ready. I mean, I feel like we have a few days, so...
I'm eager to move as quickly as we
I'd
can.
also like to know, like, what's going on over there, if they've sussed out any more of the traders. What Melloru's doing about all this.
That's a longer conversation. That might necessitate the mirror.
I also think maybe letting him know before we reach out, because last time we used the mirror, he was preoccupied.
Well, but you have time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a show.
Yeah, we are pretty impressive, huh?
Well, Zorkol is pretty.
Okay.
He's alright.
You know, I took out all 3 of those gargoyles in one swoop.
Yes, the mushroom soup gargoyles.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
Fabled for how
Speak.
dangerous they are.
they looked terrifying. I don't know. I mean, it'd be cool to maybe get a quick thing, because I don't want to waste the one use if he doesn't have any information. It might be worth reaching out with one of your magics
Sure.
to see if he has enough, and then we can say, okay, well, we'll reach out tomorrow to get the full story or something. I guess just say like any news on the traders, any news on what Melloru is doing about it. If so, let us know and we can reach out with better means tomorrow. Have something shiny on you.
He's not going to be somewhere without his sword, is he?
That's true.
Unless he gave it to someone to steal from them later.
Okay, listen. One time.
Was not one time for him. As I do, my eyes glaze over as I finish saying that.
Nice.
Hachungis. And I will cast Sending on good old Zorkol. Hello. How'd things go below Saddlemount? And any news on the traitors?
And ask what Melloru is doing about it.
What's Melloru doing?
The base below Saddlemount is gone.
I give Flynn a thumbs up.
Totally destroyed.
Good, good.
Lots of Iron Light dead.
Not so good.
Melloru. No one has heard from Melloru in days.
Why are you making that face?
Huh. Well, this is one of those good news, bad news situations.
Why?
Saddlemount's dealt with.
Okay, that's good.
Totally destroyed.
Great.
That's what he said verbatim.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we're pretty strong.
A lot of Iron Light died.
What?
He was not specific. But
Ooh.
he did not give me a list. And no one's heard from Melloru. In days, he said.
Well, we have to reach out to him tomorrow then to find out more information. This is worse than I thought.
Yes, I was hopeful. But it was a big undertaking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's consequences whichever way we look.
Yeah. Well, they taught us how to handle this kind of stuff, so
Yes, but
time to handle it, I guess. And I'm gonna walk off.
I look down at the like face of the dragon on the mirror, and I just like shrug at it. What can you do?
And that is where we're going to end this episode.
Gee.
Heavy stuff. We're going to call it right there.
Sheesh.
Thank you all so much for listening, and we can't wait to see you all again next week. Bye, nerds.
Bye, nerds.
Be careful out there, nerds.
Hey nerds, be sure to like, share, and subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts on every social media, and we'll see you next week. Bye nerds.